Welcome back to the show. Today we have Sam on the show, and the reason he's on the show today is at our last mastermind, he won the most helpful member of the mastermind. Actually, you tied, Sam. Let's make sure we're clear.
Yeah.
He tied because at each mastermind, we vote at the very end, and there's some cool prizes, things like that, but we vote all the members there. There was 60 of us there, and we vote on who's the most helpful. And Sam has had tremendous success. He's had hiccups just like anyone else does. He's had really good success, and it's so cool to hear his story. So welcome, Sam.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get started right away. People always, the number one thing they always want to know is, let's start with how much revenue have you done so far on Amazon?
I've done just over $110,000.
110,000. And how many months are we talking about?
5 months.
5 months. So you averaged around 20,000?
Yeah, 22,000.
22,000. And I'm even curious about this. Was it like building and then hit 20, or you kind of averaged, like actually did about 20 a month?
No, I mean, the first month I did about 7 because I just launched one product the first month. And that didn't really get any traction until September. And then I launched another product in September. So September, October, November were heavier months, obviously, to get to that average. But yeah, the first 6 weeks was, just getting traction. I was just learning, myself. So
yeah. So to put everything in context, so you started in August. The first month was 7. And it's funny because you say you didn't really get any traction. Like 7,000 is not horrible.
Yeah.
Right. Well, compared to now, I guess I see my sales now, and it's right. But it was also only one item, and it's a very competitive space. So getting to the first page, just learning the process took me longer than it does now.
I get it. So you started with one product, and as of right now, how many products do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3. Okay. And we won't mention your products, but are they all in one category, or are you in multiple categories?
All electronics.
All electronics. And do they complement each other and kind of tie in together, or are they completely different?
Yeah, I've now expanded from that and added additional products. So I'm trying to get repeat sales, or customers that like us can get, more product, different items. But yes, they complement each other.
And are these electronics that need a battery?
No. They're accessories. I should say that they're cell phone accessories.
I was gonna say, because you would have violated one of the rules, but
I know. I was gonna say that you don't like electronics, so it's kind of the electronics category, but it's cell phone accessories.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So kind of tell us a little bit about, because people love hearing what brought you into Amazon and what was the segue? What made you want to do this?
So I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I mean, I've started my own business, sold my business, and now I'm working for the company that bought my business. So I was, it's been 5 years since I've had my own business, and I was looking to, I was itching to get back into doing something myself. And I was listening to a podcast one day, and you guys came on, and I heard this. It was really intriguing. And I got to the office and started looking around, trying to get some more information. And I was intrigued by all the videos and everything you guys showed on the videos, the success, and just the fact that you offered a program, a step-by-step program. And I do well with that. I do well with a guided training. Because being my own business person, I realized that you need that jump start. You just don't, starting a business from scratch with no knowledge is the learning curve is so much greater than it is when you have, what you guys offer, which is, it's a significant reduction in that learning curve. I knew nothing about Amazon except I purchased a lot of product on it, but I don't know the first thing about marketing. I don't know the first thing about, what products to pick, cell phone accessory. I didn't know anything about that. So I signed up in June and was launched product August 1st. So, I mean, I learned pretty quick. I mean, that just didn't happen because, I got this divine inspiration. I got some pretty good training.
So you said you signed up in June. That's pretty fast to pick a product and, get it out.
Yes, I'm an overachiever.
So if you signed up in June, How long did it take you to go through the videos? Or did you kind of like watch a video, take action, watch another video, take action? Like, what was your process like?
So I got lucky. The week I started was the first video week. So I got to get started the training sessions was the first step in the process. So I was able to, hit the ground run, and I actually signed up on the weekend. That Monday was the first training session. I literally had my product picked by that following weekend. And I watched the videos in advance because there's a bunch of material. After I saw the first video, I did a little bit of work, and then I started pre-watching the future ones, as well as obviously participating in subsequent weeks to them. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like you say you have to do this from, this point to this point. You have to do this information. It's kind of self-guided. You can go as quick as you want, and I'm pretty aggressive, and I went pretty fast. So I had an idea of the product by the end of the first week.
That's pretty good. And we actually talk about that all the time. The more time you spend working on it, the further you get and the more you get out of it.
Correct.
That's what blows me away there, is that if you signed up in June and you made your first sale August 1st, that means from the time you started learning, to the time that you've sold your first product is less than 2 months?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Wow, yeah.
So I mean, part of the plan of that was kind of on purpose. I'm also an impatient guy, right? I want to see quick results. I also picked products, and one of the things you learn is what products to pick, how to pick them. But I also added, a component that said, I want products that I can overnight, that are light and cheap to get here. So I didn't have to wait 6 to 8 weeks for the product. I even today, I order products on a Monday and I have it Wednesday. So, and it was incredibly inexpensive because I picked an item that's light, small, and cheap to ship. So that helped cut some of that time off.
Yeah, and one of our recent shows, we just talked about that, the importance of lightweight, small. As a beginner, it's a really good start to be able to get something that shipping will be lower, the size in general is smaller, it's a more simple product, it's not too intricate, and that's all amazing that you did it in such a quick amount of time.
Yeah, so you're not losing time with shipping.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I found vendors pretty quick. I mean, I utilized all the resources that you guys taught us to use, and I've just executed them and was up till 3 a.m. for the first week trying to find people and get samples. Actually, the samples, I would have done this sooner. I would have launched my product faster, but getting samples, because I didn't just start with this one item and I just super lucky thing. I had 5 or 6 items, and I was trying to figure out which one I wanted. I had to get samples. So that took more time than anything, to be perfectly honest with you. And once I found the item, it was quick. It was within a week I was ready to launch.
Well, and people love hearing this too. What would you say in hindsight would have helped you do even better than you're doing now? If you can go back in time, what would you tell yourself to do differently to maybe even have done more by now? Even though 20,000 a month is really good, really impressive. What would you, in hindsight, tell yourself to do better or different?
So one of the things I've learned as far as so I'll talk about one of the things I would do different, sort of holistically, is I underestimated, for me, the quality of the products that come out of China. And my particular item is quality sensitive. So there was a little bit of a learning curve after the launch. So even though I got samples, it created some issues. So I had to work through that. So that actually delayed my sales growth. And that sounds funny because I think my sales growth have been pretty great, but it would have been faster had I not had taken that into consideration. Honestly, I don't know that I would have done anything different, except I picked a couple items that I, in hindsight, shouldn't have picked, and I waited for the samples, which might have delayed me maybe a week. But beyond that, no. I mean, listen, I followed the rule, like the guidelines. So I didn't deviate from what I was pretty diligent about everything you guys taught us. And it's at your own pace. People could drag this out a year if they want. Doesn't make sense, but they could.
That's really good because you're a driven guy, and that is probably why you're able to take a process and implement it. And you're a self-motivator, because I can give people the tools. We work hard to make this a really good course, but if you're not driven and you don't take action, you're not going to get anywhere with it.
Correct. And you have to execute in a real, serious way. Not, okay, I think I got this. It's a lot of, there's also that learning curve, and knowing what's good and what's bad, and what worked and didn't work, and not just saying, oh, well, I got all these samples, I got to pick one of the items I got. Not just because you already have it, you sort of feel committed to it. I the first few items I got as samples, I could have just said, yeah, let me order them. I think it's good enough. But no, I waited a little longer and then found the product I like. So just because you spend this money on samples and do different things doesn't mean you should. Just because you pick those 3 items, you're not married to those items. And that's where I feel like people go, from my experience talking to people, is they kind of have these items in their mind and they then stop looking and miss some other opportunities. And that's kind of what trap I could have went down, and I didn't do that. So that's an important piece I would tell people, is just don't fall in love with the first 2 products you get. Keep looking, and you might be surprised. You might say, oh my God, what was I thinking? I just wasted 2 weeks on these items that I don't even want anymore. So I don't even know what that answer to what question, but I just went down that.
But absolutely, that makes so much sense. And we talk about it all the time, how you don't have to love that product, but you will if it makes sense and if it makes you money.
Right. I absolutely love the product I have now because it makes me lots of money. So
exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about that too, that, you might not love it initially, but if it sells well, you can compete based on the criteria, and the margins are there. You'll fall in love with it if it makes you a bunch of money.
Correct. You'll fall in love fast. And then, and once you get the ball rolling, for me, the second and third product came fast. It was like, okay, well, this makes sense. And there's a lot of things that you teach, and that shows you, okay, well, your product's a hit. Well, there's going to be 5 or 6 other products that complement it or are similar to it that will also be a hit, because now you've kind of got the segment of the of Amazon that is selling. So now you have education in that, so you're smarter, and now you can go to the next item, and your learning curve is even shorter because you've now learned some lessons, and now you're in an item that you already know and you know how to market it, and you know what your competition is, because you'll see the same competitors over and over.
Yeah, that's right. And you bring up a good point, because you also did the same thing, I'm sure, that you wanted to differentiate yourself from everyone else.
Correct. I mean, I created a label, a logo, an LLC. I applied for a trademark. I mean, I did all that, but honestly, there's so many people selling the same thing. My differentiating factor is customer service, to be truthful with you. Because if you look at the first page that I'm on, there's 15 people that are selling literally the same exact thing. But what sets me aside is the fact that I treat my customers, right, and I do things that I would want done for me as a consumer. So, it's the other thing I see with people get focused on the whole price thing. I can charge more, even though I'm number 10 on the page. I'll charge more because I have 100% positive feedback. So those are the things you learn, though, as you kind of go down the path of you get to the first page or whatever is. It happens. When it happens, then you now learn how to stay there, how to grow even more, and other stuff. So it's not. This just doesn't stop. I'm at the first page, and I can just check out and just watch my business grow. It's definitely a continued process. So.
Yeah, and I always love asking people this question. I want to know both answers. What do you like best about the course? And then I want to hear what you like the least about the course. I
like the live seminars on a Monday night, because it wasn't canned taped a year ago, because things change. I mean, Amazon on ever evolving. So I like the fact that, yeah, you had the recordings there. So, because you do learn different things and different things come up, different questions come up. And I like the fact that they weren't just an hour and 15 minutes, check off, sign out, gotta go, guys. Could have been 5 hours if people had questions. And that's important, because I never want to feel rushed. Listen, you make an investment in the course, you never want to feel rushed. You want to feel like you're as passionate about the teaching as I am about, trying to learn the process. So I like that a lot about the course. And honestly, the fact that, and I've seen multiple versions of the same live seminar, and the passion's there at the same time. I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I'd get totally bored after like the 15th time, but there's still that same excitement and same motivation. So I like that most.
So Sam, that's really cool. I'm glad that you really like the course and that you got a lot of value in it. And I try and put everything that I've got into it. We really care about seeing you guys succeed. But I also want to know, what's the least favorite part of the course? People like to probably hear that more.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to sound really corny, and like I don't know how to say it any other way. I can honestly, truthfully say that I went through the course and there was nothing that I could say, it could prove upon. I'm sitting here trying to think about it. No, I can't come up with something I like the least. I know it's not. I'm sorry, I can't come up with and make it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I enjoyed the course. It worked for me. I mean, I don't have anything I really don't.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I always like to ask. And sometimes, a guy once told me that, my cameras could be better, or my backdrop could be better. And that was the hardest thing. I really took that to heart. I was really offended.
Yeah, I guess, here's the thing. I think if somebody was unsuccessful or didn't kind of follow the program or didn't have the results that they wanted, I'm sure they could find something they didn't like about it. So I think that's about perspective. So for me, no. I mean, for me, it worked out perfect.
Well, and you're a pretty realistic guy. There's no such thing as a get-rich-quick scheme. People, they think if they just watch a couple videos, they're suddenly going to be rich, right? Like, that's not realistic. These things take work.
I tell everybody, if you guys think, because people, will come up to me and say, "Oh my God, you're doing this. Wow, you're lucky. This is amazing. You got lucky. You picked a product. Oh my God, life is great. You should play the lottery." And I say to them, I said, that's a joke. I mean, I work my butt off. I come home, after working a 10-hour day, and they'd stay up till 2 a.m. dealing with the folks in China because of the 12-hour time difference. I probably put in, even now, 40 hours a week, including weekends, on this job. It's not a set it and forget it. It's not a get rich quick scheme. You got to work. I mean, if you don't work, I will guarantee you, if you don't put your time in, you're going to fail. Because there's just there's no such thing as a free ride either, anywhere. That's
what I try and emphasize, because, I've been told that I'm really lucky too. Say, "Wow, Mike, you're so lucky." I say, "Wow, okay, yeah. I wish I had more luck. I'd play the lottery."
You create your own luck, right? I mean, hard work and that's been my whole career. I started a business, we've talked about this, from scratch, from nothing, and ended up selling it after it grew to quite a few millions of dollars. So that didn't just happen because of luck. You make your own luck, and your hard work and effort and dedication to what you do is what creates success. It's not luck.
So Sam, if somebody was on the fence and they were wondering, should I apply to be part of this inner circle, what would your advice to them be?
I mean, it's funny because people ask me the question, so I have a great answer, I think. If you are the type that has no problem putting work in, you want to learn something, that you probably have never done before, and not afraid of putting the time and effort and energy into something, and you're intrigued by the whole e-commerce world, then you should do it. But no, going in, nothing's guaranteed. It's only going to be successful if you follow and you're willing to learn. And because if you're going in with any preconceived notions, thinking you know stuff, you're not going to be a good student. You have to be a good student. You have to be a person that is able to execute on certain directions. So if you have all those qualities and you want to see success, then and you have the time and energy, you should do it. There's no question about it. It's a great process.
I appreciate that, and you're absolutely right, because we could never guarantee someone's success. That if someone told you that, that would be ridiculous.
Right, and that's a
Correct.
good point too with learning, because that's the one quality I feel every successful person has, is that they're always learning more, and that's where you bring up you're always working. It's not really the fact that the work doesn't end, but you learn so many new things that you have to do and take care of, and you take it to the next level and you improve, and that's a good quality to have.
And I would say, and qualify that by saying, you don't have to have a certain level of education. You don't have to have a certain specific standing in life. Anybody can do this. I mean, literally anybody can do this if they have those qualities. Mm-hmm. And that's really important, because I think some people might be intimidated by it and say, oh my God, I can't do this. But again, I had no knowledge of any of this stuff. So really, if you have those qualities, I don't care where you are in life, it's something that is absolutely possible, and you should do it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because drive and ambition and that education is not the key. And I believe you told me that you've never done any online business or made money online or any of those things. Is that right?
I have absolutely never have done anything related to marketing, e-commerce, or I've never sold anything retail in my life, not only online or, at home. So yeah, this is totally brand new to me.
And I'm inspired by you too, because just seeing students like you that take action, that follow through, and there's a bunch of you that have that drive, and there's a bunch of you that are crushing it on Amazon. And that's what's fun, because there's also people that will take no action, and there's also people that'll do nothing. And that's why there's never any guarantee. All you can do is I can guarantee that we'll give you everything we got. Like, I can guarantee you that, but I can't guarantee any financial level of success. So right. I get inspired by you.
The statement that everyone always says is truly applicable to this, is you get out of it what you put into it. And that there's no things as true as that specifically with this. So I think that's really important, like to your point. So
yeah, that's awesome, Sam. And the last thing I want to know, because I really don't know the answer to this, since you were voted the most helpful member at the mastermind, well, you tied, let's be fair. But what was there a common thread? Because, I'm the one putting on the event, we're the ones behind the scenes of the entire event, but you were voted by the fellow members as the most helpful. And was there a common thread that you feel like you help most people with?
So let me first say that the environment that was created there, and I credit you to this, it turned out to be a real family environment. So it was a safe environment. So you have to start there, right? The environment was safe. Everybody was there. You were pretty selective of who you brought there. So you brought people, like-minded people, and you came into an environment that wasn't competitive. It wasn't, this person's, being secretive about whatever. It was a collaborative environment. And I'm so passionate about this, and I feel so excited about it. I was, anyone that had a question, I was always, I'd strike up a conversation, and where you at? What are you doing? And we would learn stuff from each other. It wasn't me just giving information. It was really a dialogue all around around the class, around the seminar. But it was, I would share, literally open my laptop and share exactly some of the things I was doing, to a point of even my financials. I didn't care. Like, it was such a good environment. So everybody there wanted to learn, and that's back to the learning thing. And I was just there to help maybe fill a gap or two that somebody might have been asking a question about. And pretty quick the questions to ask and the questions people have, and you're able to provide some of those key answers, and one or two pieces of information really mean a big difference. And it seems like I might have given one or two pieces of information to a few people. So I think the environment though is really critical to that. It was a great environment.
Yeah, I was curious because I didn't know because I know a lot of people, you were so open, and everybody there they were really open, but you have a good presence about you. I could see that a lot of people were talking to you, and that's why I was curious if there was like a common thread, but I love what you just said. That was pretty cool.
I saw the giving back and being grateful for what you've achieved. Just like, Mike, he wants to give back and help others.
And, and I will tell you that, and I'm not just saying this, I think I'm a pretty straightforward, to say it like it is kind of guy. There's no reason for me to say anything other than that, and tell you that I've definitely gotten more out of this than I expected. So the seminar really was the icing on the cake, because it was like an absolute over deliver of what was ever promised in this course. What I learned was plenty, but now there's been stuff that you've added that's totally over delivering on the initial promise of the seminar. And I'll tell you why that's important to me, is because that's how I run my business. I try to over deliver. So I have a real appreciation for when, you tell people you're going to do one thing and then they get something else in return that's above and beyond. And, that doesn't happen much anymore in business. And so that really is something impressive that you have to offer that you don't even, now that I'm saying it, now people kind of hoping for it, but it's true, and you're not going to change. You didn't do it just for me. You did it because that's the kind of person you are, and that's kind of training that you have out there, and that's your name and your word, and what you have to offer is really important to you, and it certainly shows. So
we take pride in that. I mean, the goal is that we want to put together something that we could be proud of, and we want people to feel that this entire process, not just by doing the mastermind, not just by doing the weekly Monday night webinars, not just doing the Voxer support, not just putting everything we got into it, but watching people grow and succeed is what's rewarding. And that's what we take pride in.
Your excitement about the success of people is pretty cool, right? I mean, because, you expect people, once you sign up, it's over. That was shocking to me, to be honest with you. I didn't expect the continued relationship, or the continued, you didn't know me before the seminar, but I knew you. And, but you followed up with people. You wanted people to get in touch with you. I'm just not the type to kind of reach out, but one of the things you said to me when we talked to me, why haven't you reached out to me? Like, you want to be part of people's success, because, that's what motivates you. And that really does show in the course, and ultimately it translates into the results and the success of people. So that's really important. And there's a million people online trying to sell stuff, but it's covered in cheesy, stuff that's just fluff. And I will say that I'm lucky and glad that I went down this path.
That's awesome, Sam.
So Sam, I got to ask you, what is next for you?
Honestly, I am so excited. I had a personal, personal accomplishment, a personal goal that I wanted to achieve. If I can get my third product to the first page in a set period of time, my time was 3 weeks. If I can get to my product to the first page in 3 weeks, I could launch anything. I don't care what the product is, because that would be 3, and there's a point of 1, it's okay. Maybe it was a good product. 2, well, okay, that's great. Now you get to 3. And it's like, wow, this is repeatable. This is something that's achievable, and it's something that's consistent. So I was able to get my third product to the first page in 2 weeks. And so what's next for me? Trying to figure out how to get more time so I can launch 5 more products, because there is time, like we talked about. And I do have a full-time job, and, I run a division of a very large company. And so I'm kind of doing this on my spare time, but my spare time ends up being a full-time job. So what's next for me is, I have 5 other products I could launch tomorrow that I already know will be successful. So that's what's next.
Sorry, are you looking at different categories too, or are you building a line more so?
Both. I think there's so much room to grow in my category that, like, even just different versions of what I have, like, that's even a whole nother, like, realm of not even different products, but different variety of what you have. And then you can, already getting the sales, you can double the sales, and there's more of that. So it's it's not only growth by different products, it's penetration even within your existing products to make you more relevant.
Right. There's so many ways you can go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can be on the first page for, gray and blue. It doesn't have to be just one item. It could be the same item, and then you get more buying power and stuff like that. So what's in it for me is growth, whether it's organic growth with new product or penetration with existing product. It's where I have the time to do it and manage it. That's what I'm going to do.
That's exciting.
You're such an inspiration, Sam. Thanks for coming on the show today, because people listening right now, they need to hear from people like you that actually take action, that follow a process. And we have our upcoming mastermind coming, and I would love to have you as part of it, especially you being voted tied for the most helpful member at the last mastermind. It'll be really cool to not just connect with you again, but to have you as part of, this exclusive group that we actually do this live together.
And I'm definitely excited to be a part of this whole process. And certainly the mastermind would be incredible. And I want to thank you guys for the program that you have out there and the continued interest in the success of your students. That's a pretty big deal. So thank you as well. I appreciate that. Anything I can do to help you or the fellow students, it's my pleasure.
And we're going to check back in with you, because in 6 months, I want to see how many products you have, how much more money you've generated, and how you've kicked even more butt than you're already kicking.
Awesome. I'm glad to share it with
All right. Have a good
comes.
one, Sam. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.